is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. So start ignition, count to zero. I just wanna be a superhero. So start ignition, count to zero. I just wanna be a superhero.
So Heat 1 grid is up on screen. Mitchell Young will lead away the field. Joni Heikkinen in second. 2 heats here today. We're going to split those. 9 drivers for the first one, 8 for the second. So Bobby Zelensky will be in third, and it'll be Gesmier, Clampett, Parisi, Zadzon, Joniens, and Garrett Lowe to round out the field. Very strong grid here for heat number 1. The first corner here at Iowa, the first time we'll ever see it. It's a right-hander, proceeds to that final couple of corners out on the racetrack. Ready to begin round 5 of the World Championship. We go green for 5 laps of action. Good start from De Jong. Oh, Zelensky was almost squeezed into the barriers there. And a little bit of contact behind as well. You can see Zelensky on the left-hand side of the screen. Drivers up. Not even taken to the jump there. The backhand of the Jordan. I think that was the driver of Cedric Gesmier that fallen into a bit of trouble. Through to the Joker on the first lap. For a few drivers there, and they should be able to get some clean air.
Got Mitchell DeYoung, Joni Heikkinen, and Georgi Zadzon, the drivers that take the shortcut on that opening lap. Logan Clampett, driver who had some drama in the Peak Antifreeze Series race at Pocono, lost his chance of being able to fight for that championship pretty much. He's still out there, though, trying to get something going here in the Rallycross side of things. Garrett Lowe cycles just in behind, as well as Cedric Gesmier. And then you get Jorn Jens and Bobby Zielinski, who just had a bit of a half spin, and now that's going to be basically the end of his hopes of being able to transfer in the number 83. So Bobby's train of mistakes continue.
Yeah, so Zelensky all the way down the back end of the order. We're looking at a replay on screen right now. He's coming towards the final couple of corners.
Oh, Logan spun as well. Logan spun as well. Logan just took to the Joker, and he got a little bit of oversteer at the apex, and he transitioned up the banking, and that car basically just lost the rear end and spun down to the inside wall. Logan's issues for the week continue.
So Clampett here, there you see going through this very tight section of the Joker. Oh, and he almost made it a roadblock through the middle of the racetrack. So there he goes, and he's cost him a lot of time there, as you can see. All the other drivers going to make that up as they take to the Joker. But De Jong and Heikkinen, they should advance. It's only the top two that will advance to that final feature race, the race that pays the most points, has the most points on offer. And so they don't want to collide into each other at the moment. I think they've got this all sorted. Zadzon behind in third. Gesmier in the fourth position, followed by Clampett after that spin. He should be demoted once Garrett Lowe and Jorn Jens make their way up through the field, and it's Connor Parisi. Bobby Zelensky is out of the event so far. Through the middle section goes Mitchell DeYoung. We see him on screen having a splendid race so far. And that's what you want to do, Randy, is take to the Joker early if you're in the lead. You'll get all that clean air.
You need to prioritize clean track. That's 100% the strategy you need to have when you're talking about Rallycross. If you're out in front, that usually means hitting the Joker lap really, really early. If you're in the back, sometimes that actually means skipping it, because if you just get in the train of, oh, well, you should Joker on the first lap, all you do is you cycle in behind a bunch of people, and you don't get the opportunity to maybe use that Joker lap as an easy opportunity to make a pass. We still have one driver who's yet to take to the Joker. That's Garrett Lowe. Look for him to maybe come close to Joni Heikkinen once he takes two, but I don't think it'll be too tight. I think Mitchell and Joni pretty much have this locked up.
Yeah, Garrett Lowe is actually having a very good race here. He goes through the Joker now. Don't butcher it like Logan Clampett. Yeah, he's not even close in the end. So just ahead of Georgi Zadzon. But Mitchell DeYoung coming through the final couple of corners. As long as he gets this jump right, he should be okay to proceed to the feature race unscathed. He wins Heat 1 along with Joni Heikkinen in the second position. In third in the end will be Georgi Zadzon, as you can see on screen, for Zed Racing. Cedric Gesmier, a privateer, ends up in fourth, and it's Parisi for Fusion Racing. Garrett Lowe in seventh for Fusion Racing. They sandwich Logan Clampett in that SimCube Inex racing car. Jorn Jens for VRS Commander SimSport ends up in eighth. Bobby Zelensky with a DNF for Slip Angle Motorsport. So Jorn Jens not having the best of season so far in Rallycross. We head straight through to Heat 2. The grid for that race contains Stelian, Chepi, Chepalevsky in first, Julian Shine in second, followed by Hearth, Fox, Diaz, Gerstenberg, Guest, Bob King, and Nathan Lyon. Look out for Julian Shine. He has not made a feature race all season. Needs a top two spot in these next 5 laps to proceed. We go green for Heat 2. Brilliant start from Hearth, but he's boxed in by Chepalevsky, who breaks early. Oh, he almost turns around. Cheppy, over the jump they go. There's a lot of contact. Hearth clips into the barriers. Oh, goodness me. Impaled into the barriers. Are an abundance of drivers right there. There's the number 5 as well of Josh Fox as well. Exactly what he didn't need to start this race. Rest of the drivers come through. Shine spun around as well, of course. Johan Hearth all the way down in 6th.
Big drama in that opening lap, and it's a couple of interesting names, I think, that take the control of this heat race. Phil Diaz and Michael Guest, I think, were the 2 cars who got to the Joker first. Guest did not take it. Gerstenberg did, so he cycles into that second spot. So the SimCube Inex Racing driver has a chance to maybe get himself a nice cheeky heat race victory here. And the Nexus Esports driver is Michael Guest, while his teammate of Nathan Lyon, not having luck go his way as has been tradition the last handful of races, might be able to transfer as well, but he still owes us a Joker. But huge drama on that opening lap.
And look at Chepalevsky straight into the lead. Riding on board there, we see him using his virtual reality and just driving to perfection. So a lot of contact at the start and still has the lead after screaming through the Joker. We saw him behind the scenes on scene. There we right on board with the Fusion Racing driver in that Volkswagen Beetle. Phil Diaz, though, as Randy mentioned, having a great race so far. Good start in second. Thomas Gerstenberg in third, though. He still hasn't got that transfer spot, Randy, but he's very close.
And Guest is taking the shortcut right now, so we're going to see where he comes out in relation to these guys. He's going to have the quick run. He'll get around Phil Diaz. Can he maybe challenge Stillian here in towards the braking zone? He brakes very late and almost gets there, almost makes a bit of contact with Phil Diaz as well. So the fight is on for the transfer spot. 3 cars as Gerstenberg's going to check in as well, nearly 3 wide on the landing of the jump, and Phil gets a bit of a tap. Guest is pushed off into the grass, and they're 3 wide heading towards the Joker and in towards this tight chicane.
Wow, incredible racing there through the exit of the dirt section. Here they go through the middle part of the lap. And Gerstenberg still in fourth behind them. He had a chance to slot up the inside of both of them. Behind them is Bob King as well. He's very close. So we right on board with the Frenchman of Thomas Gerstenberg. Just hugging the inside. Doesn't get the speediest of exits. And great defending by Michael Guest. I'm not sure if that was a defensive move by Michael Guest or an overtaking maneuver. Maybe a little bit of both here as they head over for the final lap of the race.
All your moves here. Oh, Michael Guest selects one of those tire bollards. All your defending moves need to be attacking moves. When you're in a sort of tight pack like this with Rallycross, Julian Chipolewski is still clear out in front of the field. No one else really in position to maybe jump into this fight if they take the Joker late. Phil Diaz comes up onto the oval for the final time while Stillian is getting ready to take the heat win.
So Chipolewski, great race from him. And the Fusion Racing driver will proceed to the feature race yet another time. He will be joined by Phil Diaz at the end of the race as he heads past Michael Guest. Michael Guest ends up in third and will not proceed to the feature. Michael Guest, don't forget, was on the podium in the feature race at Daytona for round 1. Gerstenberg ends up in fourth in the end, followed by Bob King in that Synergy Sim Racing Rallycross car. Lion in the end ended up in 6th after all the dramas, along with Johan Harth 7th, Fox 8th, Julian China again 9th. Brandy, I don't even know where to start with Julian China. He's not having the best of seasons. We'll talk about him later, though. That C main grid, 3 will advance to the feature race here. Of course, adjusted. We have 2 heats, so we adjust the format each race depending on the heats. Garrett Lowe will start from first, followed by Zadzon, Gesmier, Jens, Parisi, Clampett. Bobby Zielinski will head the back end of this order after having a terrible first heat there, and he will be trying his best to make up for it. Very strong Rallycross driver is Bobby Zielinski. Have a look at him in that orange number 83 towards the back of the pack. Zadzon on the outside and the number 21 in the Volkswagen. The Fiesta of Lowe on the inside will start from first. 5 laps of action. We go green again from Iowa. 3 wide into the braking zone of turn 1. Collected is the Fiesta of Connor Parisi. He's got nowhere to go there. And over the jump they all go. Garrett Lowe is still in first position. Zadzon ends up in second. Gesmier shoved out of the way by the number 83 of Bobby Zielinski. Great start from Zielinski. Very surprised the top 2, Randy, didn't take to the Joker.
Yeah, it's interesting, but with the way because it's such a shortcut, I don't think it's as clear cut. I don't think you have to take the Joker early if you're out in front, because you know those guys that do take the Joker early, they're going to be out clear in front of you. It's one of those problems, like let's say at Daytona, you're talking about a 3-second shortcut. If someone 2 or 3 cars behind you takes that Joker, they're going to be directly in front of you. Here, they're half a lap ahead. So if you're Garrett Lowe, there really is no pressure taking it. Georgi Zadzon, he's off, and I think that's basically going to be the end of his night.
Yeah, his day's basically done unless he performs a Stephen Bradbury or something to win this race. And he's in 7th at the moment. Garrett Lowe now in first after taking to the Joker. Gesmier is in 2nd. Jorn Jens in 3rd. Jorn Jens, this race could end up anywhere for Jorn Jens. He may find himself in the feature if things can go his way towards the end of the race. So keep an eye on the Coanda Sim Sport driver. Clampett is, oh my goodness, pushing his way through here in that Volkswagen Beetle. There he is at the back of the pack. Logan Clampett in the NX racing car, trying all his best to proceed and get into those transfer spots.
He's definitely not undercommitted as Logan, but I would say this entire field is full of talent and speed, but drivers that have lacked the consistency thus far. Connor Parisi, he takes the Joker, and I think he's going to take the third spot away, slots in just behind Cedric Gesmeyer, and gets into that third position. So Fusion Racing currently first and third. Two of the transfer spots locked up, and Jorn Jens, Vera's Quintessence driver, he wants to get another Coanda car into that sort of grid position into the feature, Johnny, because really if you take Mitchell de Jong out of the equation, Vera's Quintessence has been pretty terrible in this season thus far.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Mitchell de Jong, like you said. So no Jake Hewlett, who's also part of the team. He's got a license, but hasn't appeared at a race this season. Still a few laps to go, though, in this C-Main race, or the first consolation round. Parisi, though, having a great event. He's in his 30s at the moment. He's not lacking any speed, of course, as well. He's trying to search for the second position, put a bit of pressure on Gesmeyer. He has to also be careful. Jorn Jens.
Oh, Logan collected a bollard. Logan collected a bollard. That's basically going to be end his night.
Yeah, so Clampett there has lost a lot of time. He's basically out of this pack right now. There he is. Not even close to a transfer spot. Jorn Jens in fifth. Now someone's taking to the Joker. Bobby Zielinski in second now, into the top three.
A great move there from Bobby Zielinski. Moves up into second. That's going to bump Connor Parisi out of a transfer spot as they get ready to come to start-finish, and that's going to basically be the end of it. So Bobby, on a late race Joker lap, gets himself into the feature.
Brilliant Joker. And there we go. Your top three to advance to the feature will be Lowe, Zielinski, and Gesmeyer. Goodbye to Parisi and Jens, as well as Logan Clampett after that last lap mistake. He had to push, though, anyway, or else he wouldn't have made it. Yogi Zavzon in the end after early race troubles out of the event. So big names again. Connor Parisi, most notably Randy, as well as Logan Clampett, two drivers that we normally see in the feature.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but again, it's sort of the same story. Those drivers, yeah, we occasionally see them in the feature, but when we don't, it tends to be because they get themselves into issues of some sort. Like I kind of said, a lot of talent and a lot of speed in that field, but not a lot of consistency as we get ready for the B-Main.
So that last consolation race. Again, three will advance. Michael Guest will start from first, along with Gerstenberg, King, Fox, Shine, Lion, and Johan Harth. Johan Harth second in the standings. Bobby Zielinski started the last race from last and still managed to make his way into the top three. Can Harth do the same? We go green for the final consolation race. Bob King shoves one of the drivers straight out of the way. That's the number 5 of Josh Fox. A lot of rear end damage to the Volkswagen Beetle, that Fusion Racing car. Oh, it's good trying to shove his way back past Bob King. Still calamity here on the first lap. Nathan Lyon pushed offline as well. 3 drivers taking to the Joker and spun around is Nathan Lyon, and that could be his day done. He's lost a lot of time, and cars on their roof as well. Johan Harth on his roof. Oh, calamity at the start.
Yeah, a lot of drama there. That's one of those situations where patience really pays off in dividends. I think there was just too many people wanting to take the Joker there. When you're side by side like that, you can't do that. That was a rookie mistake by Julian Shine trying to cut across the track like that. And Johan Harth and Josh Fox, I think it's somewhat similar, trying to take the Joker side by side like that, as quick as that little kink is. But sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, and you need to just, as much as you want to take the Joker, you need to just take the regular lap.
Yeah, so Johan Harth flying through the air. I haven't seen an accident like that in a while. But in first place anyway is Thomas Gerstenberg. He's having a great race in that Ford Fiesta. Gerstenberg, as we said, in first. Bob King in second. Bob King shoved all over the place. A lot of damage to that Subaru WRX at the moment, but he somehow finds himself in a transfer spot. Michael Guest in the third position right now. Hasn't taken to the Joker, Randy, and he's got that up his sleeve towards the end of this event.
Yeah, and in the top position just behind him, Julian Shine just took to it. So I think Michael Guest will likely have that beat. So this has been a crazy last chance qualifier thus far. A lot of drama. Julian Shine actually cycles out in front of Thomas Gerstenberg. So yeah, despite all the drama for Julian, he gets out in front here. It's going to be interesting to see actually where Michael Guest actually cycles through, considering that he was in front of Shine when Shine opted to take the Joker. So we might have for that next C-Sports car locking up a last chance qualifier here.
That move from Julian Shine, he's hungry, isn't he? And he just switched back, went for the inside, overly aggressive, and for all the right reasons there. In first place in that Fusion Racing car. Made the switch from race clutch mid-season. New team for him, new start, and trying to search for his first ever feature race. He's about to begin the final lap. He's going to keep it together, though. That is not the perfect way to fly over the jump there across the start-finish line. So final lap right now for Julian Shine. Gerstenberg in second, Bob King third. Michael Guest, if things go right, may find himself in the top 3. Let's have a look at him. He's going to go through the Joker lap right now. Where's he going to end up? Speeds his way through. Michael Guest into the top 3, and that demotes Bob King to 4th. And that will mean, as long as all things go right through these final few corners, Shine, Guest, and Gerstenberg will advance to the feature race. And grid position important for Julian Shine. He advances to his first feature race of the season, as we said. Brilliant race from him. Bob King says goodbye in the 4th position. The Synergy Sim Racing car out of the event, along with Nexus Esports' Nathan Lyon. Josh Fox as well in the Fusion Racing car out of the event, along with Johan Hart as well. For Johan Hart's championship chances, Randy, very underrated, like we said. He's a driver who, I mean, the Frenchman's had a great season, hasn't won any races, but we haven't seen an event like this from him today.
Yeah, it's been sort of an interesting one. I mean, this race in general has been really interesting, especially the last chance qualifier. That B main right there, I think, is the epitome of you can't win the race in the first couple of corners, but you can definitely lose it with the way Nathan Lyon, Josh Fox, and Johan got caught up in the incidents there. A little bit silly overall, but now we're into the 2-minute warm-up for these guys, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here, because it's been nothing but drama here at Iowa, which with the track layout and with the layout of the Joker, you're always going to get, especially the run into the first corner, and then because basically you're coming from the start directly over the jump side by side, you almost always get a bit of a pileup there of some sort, a bit of contact. It's going to be an interesting lap 1 here, and the pole sitters for these races in the Heath and the B and C mains have not been safe. So for the likes of Mitchell de Jong, Stilian Chmielewski, Yoni Heiken, and those guys will be starting up in the front of the field. They need to not feel too safe about getting through turn 1 here 100% unscathed.
Yeah, so along with that, it's the second row, like Randy was just talking about. That second row, Randy, they break into the first corner. It's a tight right-hander. They were very over-aggressive in those consolation races. I think today, you look at the second row here today, it consists of Heikkinen, Diaz, Lowe. Are they the type of drivers to be, I don't want to say, I think they're more poised compared to what we saw in those consolation races.
Definitely were. I mean, you think about someone like Phil Diaz. Diaz is not the quickest driver in Rallycross. That's not to say he's bad or that he's slow, but he generally picks his spots and he's very consistent. And I think that's what we're going to see be really the drivers who succeed over this championship. It's Rallycross, I get it. You need to be aggressive, you need to make moves, but you need to also pick your spots. You can't just be 100% aggression 100% of the time. Otherwise, you end up with 4 cars pretty much upside down and going through the Joker on lap 1.
Yeah, Phil Diaz, the driver manager at NX Racing. He's been sim racing since the 90s. The 28-year-old ready to try and win his first ever iRacing Rallycross World Championship event here today. The grid today will consist of De Jong and Chmielewski, the first 2, followed by Joni Heikkinen. Can he make it 3 wins in a row? Shine in 4th. Phil Diaz in 4th. Garrett Lowe in 5th. Bobby Zelensky will start the race from 6th, followed by Gesmier, Shine, Guest. Thomas Gerstenberg rounds out your 10-car feature race. 10 laps of action as usual. 1 Joker available to the drivers. You'd be ridiculously silly not to take that this time out. Very important Joker at Iowa. Have a look at the first lap. Who will get the clean air from the Joker? Who will be poised into the first corner in the braking zone? We go green for the final time at Iowa. What a start from Heikkinen. Just cannot find his way past De Jong. He may even do that. Heikkinen into the lead through the first corner. The perfect start for the Finn.
He was not afraid to get the chrome horn out on that opening lap, and one of the drivers gets involved. I think that's Phil Diaz. He goes around. Julian Shine gets involved. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think Phil may have just hooked one of those tire bollards. I didn't see much. Oh, there was a little bit of car-to-car contact. Garrett Lowe got into the side of him and kind of pushed him into the tire bollard, but Mitchell is now going to be a man on a mission trying to hunt down the Finnish driver of Heikkinen, who's had his number in the last handful of races.
It almost ironically seems like a disadvantage to start on the front row. They've all been shoved out of the way in all the races. The same for Mitchell de Jong this time out. This time all legally, you'd say, and he's all up close now behind Joni Heikkinen. Still has a shot at victory here today. He'll be hungry for it. butchered the last 2 rounds. And he's all over the back of the fin. Through the Joker goes Stelian Chepelevsky. Looking for the outside is Chepelevsky for a top 2 position. De Jong makes a mistake, and that means Chepelevsky may find his way through. This contact between the two. Cheppy's turned around.
That's one of those situations, I think, just the way that corner is sort of profiled, that someone has to give there. And I think Stelian kind of had to know that the way that Mitchell tried to handbrake that corner, that nose was going to be coming around. Unfortunate luck for Stelian. I don't think it was a really major mistake. It was just unfortunate placement of both of those cars. But unfortunately, it means that Stelian's done for the night.
Yeah, we saw Chepelevsky's on board there. It just, didn't look happy, of course. He has a lot of damage as well. That's only going to help the driver of Joni Heikkinen take a 3rd victory in a row here in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Still a lot of laps remaining. We're on lap 4 or 10 at the moment. Gesmia in the 3rd position, followed by Gerstenberg. Now, we'll wait for the other drivers, of course, to take their Joker, of course. Garrett Lowe, Bobby Zelensky, Phil Diaz, Michael Guest in 8th. Julian Shine still in this event in the 9th position. Chepelevsky is out of the event. He tried to rejoin the racetrack, Randy, and then flipped the car all on his own through the jump. Something we've seen quite a few times this season from a few drivers.
Yeah, sometimes if you catch that jump just at the wrong angle, it looks like you're doing a little bit more of some Travis Pastrana-like X Games shenaniganry instead of doing an actual rallycross race. But, you know, it is one of those things that we've seen a couple times. And you know what? Here at Iowa, I think it's pretty much the easiest place, not necessarily to get the jump wrong, but when you get it wrong, to go upside down, because you come through that right-hander, and it is really easy, especially at the starts when you're 3 wide, 4 wide almost, to put just the rights or left sides just up and over the jump. And when that happens, it's never a fun result. Mitchell is still trying to hone Joni in, despite the damage. He's been about a 1/10 of a second quicker the last couple of laps. As we're halfway here, he might have just enough time to just about get there and maybe make something happen here.
Yeah, his lap times aren't too bad, despite all the damage. Chepelevsky, by the way, back out onto the racetrack after getting some services to his Volkswagen Beetle. And he's just trying to claim some extra points in case anyone else DNFs. But the drivers, though, so here are the drivers who haven't taken to the Joker this race. Garrett Lowe, Bobby Zelensky, Phil Diaz, Michael Guest, and Julian Shine. In order, those are your drivers from 5th to 9th. So all have a shot at least promoting themselves into the top 3. It looks like Garrett Lowe has the best chance of finishing onto the podium if things go his way for the rest of this event. There he is on screen in that Ford Fiesta. Continuing away to the final corner. But the top 2 battle continues. De Jong etching closer and closer to Joni Heikkinen. Point-to-point driving through this tarmac section, Randy. This is one of those racetracks where the drivers who love the tarmac will fare very well at Iowa.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the tarmac sections are very, very important here, as Garrett Lowe actually gets that chicane a little bit wrong here, but still, he's just sitting there lurking along with Bobby Zelensky and Phil Diaz, all 3 drivers yet to take into the Joker. And this is part of the reason why I like this strategy, Johnny, of not necessarily, especially here, of all places, Iowa, of not committing to the Joker super early, because they have a roughly 11-second delta. And you think about the drivers that did commit to that Joker as early as they can, they find themselves getting into some sort of problems. So now you're potentially, just a little bit of consistency goes a long way, and maybe they can work their way up the field. This drama out in front between Mitchell and Joni Heikkinen. Bit of a shot as they work through the hairpin coming from the front fender of that Veros going to Sisport Subaru, as Mitchell is checked into the fight for the race lead. He is a hungry Californian, and he wants to win here, right now.
He does. Penultimate lap of the event. Lap 9 to 10. Going for the lead is De Jong here. Hits the tire bollard. Contact between the 2. They're still going to slice and dice for the lead here. For the victory of round 5. Can De Jong end Joni Heikkinen's 2-win race streak? And can he return to the top step of the podium? Overshooting the hairpin is Joni Heikkinen. And through the exit goes Mitchell de Jong. He's up the inside and should have the line here in the final corner. And all the momentum heading to the final lap. Excellent switchback by Joni Heikkinen. Incredible racing between the 2, but de Jong will end out on top as we begin the final lap of the event.
White flag waves. They head into the first corner. Chrome horn going to be in effect for both drivers. Joni Heikkinen is not happy, and Mitchell is going to go around. He goes from second, potentially down even further. Cedric Geismere gets involved. Phil Diaz may get chopped up into this as well. Somehow Mitchell holds on to P2, but drama for your race leaders on the final lap. Mitchell DeYoung, I do not think will be happy at all as the Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. Garrett Lowe with Joker on the final lap will end up victor of round 5 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. The Fusion Racing driver, in the end, the timing screen's still updating. It's shuffled all over the place. Zelensky with a Joker on the final lap in 3rd. Remember, we had those 5 cars who didn't take to the Joker, all taking to it on the final lap. Heikkinen will end up in 2nd, DeYoung in 4th, Guest in 5th. These are your unofficial race results. Replay on screen there at the final lap here. So here's DeYoung through the tarmac section, Heikkinen through there, and there's Garrett Lowe, the Fusion Racing driver, all unscathed and takes victory, Randy. Something that we knew those drivers had the Joker, but of course with all the banging and bumping and the battling between DeYoung and Heikkinen, they lost a lot of time.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, the big thing to talk about. I know that those drivers between Heikkinen and DeYoung, there's going to be a lot of frustration there, I think, between the two of them, given the amount of contact. But considering neither of them ended up winning the race, they only have themselves to blame. I think, honestly, seemed to me like Mitchell was running a little bit on tilt. There was that early contact, and then the moment Mitchell got close to Joni Heikkinen, he seemed just absolutely dead set on setting the nose as early as he possibly could into every single corner, and that's what cost him so much time, and that's really what gave this 51 car of Garrett Lowe the victory. A little patience just went a long way for Fusion Racing.
Oh my God, I ran out of breath. I don't even want to read these results on screen. There they are. I mean, Garrett Lowe, first ever victory in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Unexpected in the end, with all the battling that went on with Joni Heikkinen, who ended up in 2nd, along with Mitchell DeYoung in 4th. Bobby Zelensky, podium for him, had a great race. He started last, remember, in the consolation races, found his way into the feature race, and ends up with a podium, only 1.9 seconds away from victory. Michael Guest has had a great season, and that continues. The Nexus Esports driver ends up in your top 5. Cedric Geismere in the end, who was running 3rd for most of that event, lost 3 positions towards those final couple of laps, will end up in 6th as well. He actually made contact with DeYoung as he was rejoining the racing line, or trying to turn his car around, basically. Phil Diaz in 7th, along with Julian Shine in the 8th position. Shine in his first ever feature race, claiming a great haul of points there, of course, as well. And the Frenchman of Thomas Gersterberg ends up in 9th. Cheplevsky still classified as a finisher, though. He ends up in the 10th position, ended up rejoining the race after all the accidents out in front. You could say, Randy, one Fusion Racing driver wins. Cheplevsky could have won this race had he kept it together.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could. That was just unfortunate. I think that was, like I said, I don't think Stillian was entirely in the wrong there, but I also don't necessarily think Mitchell was entirely in the wrong with that situation. You know, Mitchell kind of committed to handbraking that corner, and Stillian saw an open door and went through it, and they both kind of just came together through that right-hand switchback coming up and over towards the jump. I think that was just an unfortunate place, wrong place, wrong time, I think, for both of them. Man, if Stillian had not gotten caught up there, that would have been a fantastic 3 or 4-way scrap, because Stillian's very aggressive in his own right, and if we would have had him, Joni, and Mitchell all going at it there, may have seen Bobby Zelensky or someone else come away with the win, because things would have gotten physical real fast.
Definitely so. Garrett Lowe, though, is your race victor in that Fusion Racing car. What a victory. We are speaking to him right now. The energy, the feels for Garrett Lowe at the moment. Unexpected victory. Garrett, you seemed to keep that together during the whole race. You seemed composed. You played the Joker to perfection. What a victory for you. How does it feel? First ever race win in the Rallycross World Championship.
It feels amazing. It was a little unexpected for sure. I just got to thank Fusion Racing for all their help. And Connor and Josh didn't make the feature tonight, but they were helping spot me and help me walk me through that, because I couldn't see where the leaders were at, and I didn't know that they were battling. And they said, just stay where you're at. Don't Joker yet. And then they said things got physical up at the front, and so I just waited for the right time and got lucky.
You only started sim racing 4 years ago. Could you believe yourself coming into the World Championship? You want to make a statement in the Peak Antivry Series as well, of course. Does this etch your name now as a force to be reckoned with in iRacing?
I think so. I think it's not a huge win. I mean, it's a huge win for me, but it's not like I just won the biggest race or anything. But it's definitely important, to notch off the personal victories like this. And my goal was just to make the feature tonight. I wasn't really prepared to go out here and win a race, and somehow we walked away with it.
Your best result before this, you had 2 fourth places the last couple of rounds as well. Again today, the one thing I was really impressed by this was you stayed composed. You took the Joker on the final lap. Something Randy discussed all broadcast is actually a good strategy to make as well. I was the opposite. I said take it on the first lap. What was the best strategy out there today? I'm surely you're going to say the final lap because that's what gave you the victory.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mixed bag here because the Joker is such a time gain that this field gets really spread out, and it depends on when you take it. I think Mitchell and Yoni probably took it early in the race, and I decided to just get clean track while I was ahead of the rest of the field and try to run it out as long as I could until I ran into traffic, and luckily I never did, and I was able to take it on the last lap.
And finally, feel free to give your shout-outs and your thank yous to Fusion Racing and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, thanks to Fusion Racing, Connor, Josh, Cheppy, Joe, Julian as well. Just everybody over there that puts in a lot of work to help me be fast every week.
There you go, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Garrett Lowe, your race victor for round 5 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. Congratulations again to Garrett Lowe. Randolph Cheneth will be speaking to the driver of Joni Heikkinen, who ended up in the 2nd position. Lots of drama there towards the end of the race with Joni Heikkinen, but Randy, he still had a great race and ended up in 2nd.
Yes, I have the ever-talkative Finn of Joni Heikkinen. And Joni, seems I've seen you in the YouTube chat already. I know that there is definitely a physical fight between you and Mitchell. Seems that you had some fun with it, though, even though it may have taken a win away.
I have to say I don't understand everything what you say, but yeah, that was. I think there was a lot of luck today. Example, at the start we were not even close on my screen, and still Mitchell almost spin, so it was the same.
Talking about that fight with Mitchell, trying to put this as simply as I can. I mean, what was going through your head during that fight? Because I'm sure that was pretty much all almost raw emotion with you two banging each other back and forth like that.
I just try to focus on. I wanna win, but I wanna do it clean. I don't wanna be. Yeah.
You don't want to be dirty. You don't want to wreck him out to get the win.
Yeah, I wanna win cleanly.
That's definitely what it seemed like. You guys were racing with each other hard, maybe on the verge of a little bit outside the respectful line, but it's Rallycross, so I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But congratulations, Joni, on the 2nd place finish. Absolutely phenomenal show you put on tonight. Before we let you go, any sponsors you would like to thank?
Thanks to my sponsor, Simcare.
There was Joni Heikkinen, 2nd place finisher on the night. Always a man of few words. The language barrier, a little unfortunate, but it's what makes this, what shows how international this championship is. And keeping up on that, 3rd place driver, not a Californian we usually see on the podium, but he managed to sneak his way up there. It's usually the driver of the 24 from Temecula we see up there, but instead it's one from a little further north. Bobby Zielinski is stood by with Johnny Simone.
Bobby Zielinski, what a race from you. Ended up in 3rd. Can I start from the consolation races? You were starting last. You almost looked like your event was done. You climbed your way up the start as well. How did you manage all of this? Ended up with a podium in the end.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've had other rounds this year where everything starts out perfect and I get wrecked on the first lap of the main. This time, in the heat, I got smushed against the inside wall on the start and it just destroyed the right rear suspension, so I had to retire the car. We start last of the heat, and thankfully it's on the bottom, so we just they went 4 wide, made contact, we got quickly by, we got into like 4th or 3rd, and a couple people took the Joker, we had clean track, we just put in great laps, and then made the feature. And then that's kind of like what we did here, except we started on the outside, and kind of a few people took the Joker, and I was able to just get clean laps in and just ride behind Garrett. And we're just running our own races, and all of a sudden we're in contention for a podium. It's nuts, but fantastic.
You seem pretty quick anyway, because even in qualifying, you qualified 5th in the end. Was this a track where the tarmac section suited you guys a lot more compared to a lot of the dirt-dominated tracks?
I'm not sure. I think my inconsistency was an issue today. I think I could have ran for the pole, actually. I mean, on my second attempt, I just grip rolled, went on 2 tires, and the first hairpin lost all the time. But for some reason, we've been able to qualify in the top 6 every round so far. It's just we haven't really got the job done in the rest of the event. And it was looking that way today, but then it went our way. I don't know. I think all the tracks are kind of the same for us. In terms of me, Iowa's kind of a middle of the road track. I really enjoy like Sonoma and stuff like that. But man, nothing special about Iowa. Just we just had a good race. I think we're equally fast everywhere. Me and Line, Guest, and Clampett are little alliance we got. So I don't think we got any weaknesses, but not too many strengths either.
And I have to say, career best result in the Rallycross World Championship for you today with the podium. Any thank yous to the team? Anyone that contributed to this result that you thought made the difference?
Yeah, thanks to them again, and Nathan Lyon, Michael Guest, Lynn Clampett, guys over at Nexus and NX, for all the help. Lyon's been helping out with the sets since the Pro Series started, 5 months ago. So for sure, thanks to him, and thanks to Slipping on Motorsports, my team. And everybody at RaceSpot, and of course, Virtual Racing School on the car. Finally get a chance to thank them in my interview. Go there for coaching, data packs, everything to improve your driving. And happy to have them on the car and represent them with a podium.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Zelensky with a podium to his name. Brilliant race result. Randolph Cheneth, of course, will be speaking to Mitchell de Jong, who ended up in 4th. Was involved in a thrilling event, but a lot of incidents as well involved.
This may be the most interesting interview of the night for sure. Mitchell, first things first corner incident, you get a little bit of a shot from Joni Heikkinen. You lose the race lead in the early goings. What's your take on that kind of opening incident? Because I think a lot of things kind of fell from that point later as the race went on.
Yeah, you're exactly right. No, I was really looking forward to this one to be just a clean race after some chaotic last couple, but yeah, everything looked good through the heat. Qualifying went well. Qualifying wasn't the best, but we still made it through. And yeah, Iowa is a track where these things have happened. We've had it in Dirt Night a few times and all that, but yeah, hoping we could escape that this time, but unfortunately not. Just got a bit of a bump by Joni there, and it was not the end of the world. We were still able to keep going a bit, then got kind of helped wide by Stellian a bit, and yeah, just trying to find my way, find a rhythm on the track. Then the Joker thing situation happened with Stellian, and I'm not sure what happened. It was, I think, a bit of a lag thing, but on my screen just suddenly he was facing into the wall, and big crash happened, and we really hurt the car. After that, just still, I was hoping just to finish second, and then I noticed we were catching Joni a bit, and it was like, maybe there's a chance. A bit of a battle happened, and then yeah, I don't know. I felt like I got around him pretty cleanly. I didn't force him wide when I got underneath him there, so I thought it was pretty okay. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like I've been done a bit wrong there in the corner. I just kind of got finished off, it feels like, but yeah, we'll see. It's a bit tough with the way it's kind of been lately, so hopefully it gets cleaned up a bit soon.
Now you seemed a little confused on the Stellian incident. What more or less happened there is you kind of just handbrake the corner, whereas he sort of worked the cut under. And then as your nose sort of came around, you just barely hooked him. It was, basically just wrong place, wrong time for both of you in that certain extent. But after that incident with Joni, you were definitely a man on a mission. You were quicker than Joni. You were reeling him in consistently. then when you eventually got there, you seemed absolutely devoted to getting the pass done right here, right now, depending wherever corner it was, you were sending the nose. It seemed like the red mist kind of came down for the first time we've really seen that from you. You know, it's often, you are one of the most aggressive drivers on the sim across all the world championships you take part in. You threw the fantastic move at Suzuka to come away with a win. You've had a whole bunch of passes in the WC GPS series as well. This really the first time you may have felt that emotions a little bit, maybe a little bit of tilt got the best of you?
I don't think so. I mean, to be honest, I didn't feel like I did anything too crazy. I was a bit surprised that we were catching him, to be honest, with how much damage we were carrying. I could see that he was defending a lot and really trying to protect kind of the lead there. So just tried to work my way around him a little bit. And he kind of drove a bit easy into the corner one time into turn one. And I saw it as an opportunity to kind of sneak under him. And we did so without contact until I was at his door mid-corner. And obviously he's going to want to keep to the inside and the grippy line as much as possible. And that's when the contact happened. But after that, no, I didn't really have the corner, the next chicane area, so I kind of backed out of it pretty quickly, and we tried to be smart. There's a lot of opportunities for me to just send it and do something silly, but I thought it was okay. Once he dove back into the inside after he went wide on the oval, I saw he was going to overdrive it, so I tried to cross under, and then we had a little more contact, but we ended up getting back ahead, and then I just kind of got turned back after I got the lead, so it's disappointing. It could have been much better. So
thanks for joining us, Mitchell. Who gets it done for you in the 24 car?
Yeah, absolutely. Virtual Racing School, and then Hoisingfeld Engineering, Andor Design, SimQuip, VTech, Joe Real Timing, and of course you guys, Race Spot, for putting on a broadcast for us.
There he was, Mitchell DeJong. Definitely a little frustrated with the way this one went, Johnny, but I think most people in his shoes would be, regardless of who they were.
Exactly so, and a very unfortunate race for Mitchell DeJong, but he still looked like one of the quickest drivers out there, of course, as well. And we'll see him next week for the next event of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series. That will be on the 16th of August, as we said, in just 1 week's time. And we'll head back to the Daytona International Speedway, where this season all began, and that will host round 6 of the championship, of course, as well. So stay tuned for that. Coverage will begin, of course, at 1 o'clock a.m. GMT. That will, of course, be 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, of course. We'll be on Racespot TV, streaming live on the iRacing Esports Network. Thanks to all you lovely viewers. You're always very, very elegant. You're very, very fun to read, your comments and everything. Thanks as well for joining us for today's broadcast. I'm Jonathan Simon alongside Randolph Cheneth, Hugo Luis in production. Thanks, of course, to Isfran Bello, Andreas Werner, Simon Grossman, and Nick Thiessen for all their work behind the scenes. And this has been a Racespot TV presentation broadcasted on the iRacing Esports Network. We say so long from Iowa. We'll see you shortly in a week's time at Daytona.